Greetings, everyone. Hope you are okay. Hope you are fine. It is a beautiful moon day here. It is the 18th of the month of December of 2023 in the Gregorian calendar, to be precise. Hope you're fantastic and I hope you are doing fine. Welcome to the Joshua Jehudah show. This is Mindful Mondays. We talk about awareness and mindfulness of events, health, wealth, and much more, and your mindset as well. So greetings and join us for the next half an hour to 45 minutes as we talk about diabetes and talk about the statistics of diabetes worldwide. Talk about awareness, mindfulness of events, health, wealth. Greetings and join us for the next half an hour to 45 minutes. Bravo, let me put myself in the middle right there. Is that good? So hope you had a lovely Sunday and a Saturday, or as some call it a weekend when you're weekend. Hope you are strength end on your weekend. We are in winter here, so they say it's not a positive day, but for me it's a positive day. Every day is great, it is positive. It's nice and cold and it's a bit shivery and so I get my exercise, do more aerobics, do more exercise, probably more jogging on the sport. Dress warm, but keep it more positive. Not positive, keep it more positive, because we are in the what's called a season of cold and loneliness and no smiles. So this time I put in more smiles. You put in more fertilizer, more catalyst for more happiness, more positivity. Because when shivering is cold and it's very hard to be positive when you're cold. So it's a time for me to give more thanks, not thanks, but more thanks, more gratitude, double the dose of happiness and positivity, and create more awareness for what is going on in this beautiful plane that we live on. Not to digress, talking about diabetes and the disease called diabetes. So if you're watching me live, thank you for tuning in. And if you're not watching me live, still thank you for tuning in, and thanks for subscribing. Thank you for the followers. Thank you for the engagement. We have reached our goal, and now we're moving on to our next goal. So definitely thank you for those who are sending in the messages, those who are thankful, those who are complaining, those who are happy, those who are saying thank you, those who are commenting, those who are sharing. It's good to have people who support and see the value, so they share with their friends because they see that something's good for them to be blessed, or to be inspired, or to be motivated, or to help save a life. We are in the business of saving lives. How do we do it? Through positive thinking. Ask why not? We deal with the positive thoughts, and that's how we help people to recover, or to help themselves cure themselves, or to help themselves relieve themselves from their suffering, from their surviving into living and thriving, just by positive thoughts. The rest is up to you. We specialize on positive thought. That also will lead to mental health and physical health as well, but primarily it's about the mindset. But all in all, my lovelies, this is a good day to talk about diabetes. Ooh. That dreaded disease called diabetes. So I'm going to share my lovely screen with you. I know, it's emotional, isn't it? It's very emotional. So if you type in Google diabetes statistics worldwide, it's a good day to talk about diabetes. So this is a fact or statistic from 2 years ago. That's 2019. 2 years ago, it says 570 million adults. That is 20 years old. And 783 million by 2045. So this number is predicted to rise to 643 million by 2030 and 783 million by 2045. 2045. So over 3 in 4 adults with diabetes live in low and middle income countries. This is a statistic by diabetesatlas.org, but that was 2 years ago. So according to the internet or Statista, which country has the highest rate of diabetes? Apparently China is the country with the highest number of diabetics worldwide, with around 141 million people suffering from the disease. By the year 2045, it is predicted that China will have around 174 million people with diabetes. So this year, well, I say something more than 500 million people are living with diabetes worldwide, affecting men, women, and children of all ages in every country. And that number is projected to more than double to 1.3 billion people in the next 30 years, with every country seeing an increase, as published today in the Lancet. So we're going to go through that website. But you can see, if you use Google, so the country with the lowest diabetes, so meanwhile, African nations like Benin and the Gambia recorded the lowest prevalence of diabetes in the world. In 2021, African countries had a combined total of 23.6 million adults with diabetes. That's less than 2% of the continent's population. However, the number is predicted to double to 55 million by 2045. That again is 2021. So they say health experts believe that the major cause of this surge in China are urbanization and rising living standards coupled with an aging population. For those who are asking, why does China have so many diabetics? Which country has lowest rate of diabetes? The prevalence of diabetes is highest among Native Americans, 30%, and lowest among Alaska Natives, according to ncbi.nmi.nih. Goodness me, .gov. Who are you? ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. So all these are questions I'm guessing people are asking on the internet. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts so far on diabetes? Do you know someone who is diabetic? Are you diabetic? Do you believe in diabetes? Do you think it's a disease that is prevalent and needs to be dealt with? Or do you think it's just a conspiracy theory, as some said? To be honest, someone once said that it's not hereditary. I saw a video on TikTok, someone saying diabetes 1 is not hereditary. But so I don't know. What are your thoughts on diabetes? Let me know in the comments. But as you see, these are the statistics. The rest, ethnic difference in diabetes and diabetic complications. I want to click that as well. I didn't see that one. In the UK here, it is estimated that 3.8 million people aged 16 years and older and over in England have diabetes, diagnosed and undiagnosed. So this is equal to 8.6% of the population of this age group. So diabetes prevalence is higher in men than in women. 9.6 versus 7.6 in the UK. So all these are facts you can read. By the way, I am not, I'm just showing the facts. So, these are the organizations. Some of them, I'm not going to say anything, but you decide what you think is correct. International Day Diabetes Federation. What I'm saying is, read them and just see for yourself what is correct, what you think is right. I know sometimes people, some of these numbers are, you know, they're paid to give certain figures, but let's leave it as if it's correct. If it's not, fair enough. So this is 2021. I'm reading from the visualcapitalist.com. Diabetes rates by country in 2021. Countries highlighted in are those with a diabetes prevalence higher than 10%. So who is this? This is the high one. Egypt, Sudan. Mexico is not coming 16 to 21. US 11 to 15. Oh, well, US will be high. I don't know why. Which country is this? There's a country. Am I blocking your view? Sorry. No, I'm not, am I? So this country here is Pakistan. But this was saying China is the highest. So which? Hold on a minute. Give me 1 second here. So I saw Pakistan somewhere here as one of them. I thought it was Russia. I thought it was China. So, but apparently it's Pakistan according to this chart. So according to Professor Zia-ul Haq, the Vice Chancellor of Khyber Medical University, said there are multiple reasons for the higher prevalence of diabetes in Pakistan. From high levels of obesity and tobacco use to a lack of exercise and availability of fatty fast foods. Why diabetes is becoming a death sentence in Pakistan, the Telegraph. Alright, so according to this map, Pakistan has the highest in the world, yet they were saying it was China. So this was 2 years ago. So one of the leading causes of death and disability globally. Over 500 million people are living with diabetes today. So the World Bank's IDF Diabetes Atlas reveals that diabetes was responsible for 6.7 million deaths in 2021 alone. It's a graphic by Alberto Rojomoro. So for those who need to understand what diabetes is also known as diabetes mellitus, is a long-lasting condition that affects how the body turns food into energy. So normally our bodies break down the food we consume into glucose, which is a sugar, and release it into our blood. When our level of blood sugar rises, insulin produced by our pancreas signals the body to use excess glucose as energy or store it in for later consumption. So diabetes restricts the pancreas from producing the life-saving insulin properly, thus causing higher blood sugar levels. These high glucose levels can eventually impact the heart, kidney, and vision. So type 1 and type 2. So type 1 diabetes, as they say, is whereby the immune system attacks and destroys the cells in your pancreas that make insulin. Causes are believed to be genetic and environmental. So they're believed, they're not certified genetic. Because they say type 1 is genetic, but they say here are believed to be. That means it's not 100% genetic. Because somewhere someone was saying that diabetes 1 is not genetic. Like, oh, I read this last week actually. Some guy was talking about it on TikTok, saying diabetes 1 is not actually genetic, but here saying it is believed to be genetic, so it's not actually 100% certified to be genetic. I'm reading from this part here, type 1. So causes of type 1 are believed to be genetic and environmental. I heard before it's known to be, people to talk, no, sometimes just repeat what we heard, but it was certified that it was genetic. From your parents or from your ancestors, one of us, from your aunties, it's taken down type 1. But I am not, same here, I'm learning away from that nowadays. I'm learning away from that because certain, factors and evidence. So it's believed to be genetic. So that means it's actually not from this side. It's not actually 100% proven genetic. So if you have type 1 diabetes, maybe it's not genetic. You might think different from that way. Because sometimes we look in our parents, we look in our family, there's no one with diabetes, and you're like, oh, so how is it? I haven't got diabetes, but some people look in because it says that it's genetic. But look in the family, and there's no one with that diabetes 1. So like, how is it genetic when nobody in the family actually has it? I've seen here people who have diabetes 1, and it says genetic, and because you believe you've been told, but in the family tree, it's very rare or doesn't exist. So like, how is it genetic? I don't get it. So they say maybe somebody far, far away, like an ancestor. But normally disease doesn't jump too far. It jumps like 1 generation or 2. It doesn't jump like 3, 4 generations. I don't think you can get, I'm not sure, but I don't think you can get a disease or DNA from your great-great-grandfather. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I might be wrong. Let me know if you know. Let me know. I've not gone that far, but I don't think you can get it from your great-great-granddad. It's either your grandfather or your father, mother, your auntie. I think a second or third. I'm not too sure. Don't call me there. Because it is believed. Some people now are 100% sure that it is genetic, and it's saying it's believed, so they're not 100% sure it is genetic. So if you think it is, and you look in your family, there's no one who has diabetes 1. When you're told it's someone you don't know, I don't think it might be true. Because that tells you that it's genetic. It says that basically people become helpless. They say, oh, I can't do anything about it. It's genetic. There's no point. But there's a point. Try and find a cure. Try and find a way to treat your diabetes. Look at the leafy plants. They're good for you. Yes, because they say it's genetic, it means it cannot be cured. Some people give up because it's genetic. I can't do anything about it. It's in the genes. I can't help it. But you can. It is believed to be. It's not 100% genetic. Yes, that's type 1. So type 2 diabetes is where the body becomes resistant to insulin or doesn't produce enough insulin to regulate blood sugar levels. So part 2, the body becomes resistant to insulin or doesn't produce enough insulin to regulate blood sugar levels. So this is caused by a mix of lifestyle factors, including obesity, physical inactivity, poor diet, and smoking, and genetics. So all this, yes, genetics can cause it, definitely. If your parents were having a bad lifestyle and they passed on to you, definitely you're going to get it. Yes, especially now, people are not, now in winter, because it's cold, people are not having any activity, and the diet is worse now, especially in Christmas time. Instead of eating, there's overeating, there's over drinking, nobody's going to exercise because it's cold. So it's eating, drinking, nobody's working as well. So people are in the house on holiday. And it's cold in this hemisphere it's cold. Probably in Africa or along the equator it must be hot and nice. But here up in the north, it's cold, it's raining. I don't go out much anymore. I don't lie to you. I don't go out much because of the cold. So I exercise in my house. I sit, but I do my exercise. It's not enough. So I was, that's it, 3 days in, they're in. He's eating, smoking, drinking, and that goes on, watching movies. So that's the bad side of Christmas side. So that's when it's going to affect your diet. And that's why I think in Europe, it's 40% of adults have diabetes. I'm not too sure. But anyway, so this one affects you with your lifestyle. It's a mixture of lifestyle factors. So don't get it too mixed up. Type 1 is when the immune system attacks and destroys the cells in your pancreas that makes insulin. Type 2 is when the body becomes resistant to insulin or doesn't produce enough insulin to regulate blood sugar levels. So type 2 diabetes is by far the most common form of the disease, making up between 90 to 95% of global cases. Oh. So according to this site, only 10 to 5% of diabetes is actually inherited or genetic or environmental. So I think diabetes is mostly caused, let's agree, if that's the case, the majority of diabetes is, if this is true, that is based on lifestyle. Poor lifestyle, negative lifestyle. Adding in the positive vibes here. So it's based, 90% of it is based on negative lifestyle. That is lack of physical activity, lack of good diet, lack of, that's it actually. It's just physical activity, lack of, and poor diet. That's it. Because smoking, drinking, that's all diet. Obesity, that's diet. Physical activity is exercise. So if I'm not wrong, what I'm saying is diabetes is caused by no exercise and poor eating habits. That's what I see. Poor eating and drinking habits. That's it. No, poor habits and smoking. Smoking is not drinking and eating. Yeah. So it's poor air, poor food, poor water, poor food inside. That's diabetes. And it's true because our foods here have a lot of sugar. I'm trying to get off my sugar, but it's in almost everything I eat has a lot of sugar or salt. For those who are suffering, you can change your diabetes, change your lifestyle, change your diet. Obesity is when you overcome. It's eating, physical activity, no exercise, poor diet. That's the food you drink, smoking, and that's it. There's no other factor they're adding in for type 2 diabetes. There's no environment, there's no nothing, there's no genetics. Genetics a bit, but majority is what you're eating, you're not exercising. People complaining, looking for a big reason why you're not exercising. Go walk. You come to the gym. If it's cold in Indoors, do some aerobics. But keep it up. I'm getting a belly now. I have to admit, my belly is getting. I don't like it, but I have to admit I'm number one because I'm eating out. I haven't done much exercise as I need to. So I'm guilty here as well. I am lacking exercise yet. I need to do more because of the winter. But it's important to know these facts because sometimes we overread or we're just told by somebody, then we just reiterate or we just repeat or we believe something and then we don't know exactly what it is. But type 1, I am starting to believe that it's not actually genetic. Because so far, we heard, I read it before, I said, okay, that's what they said. I said, hold on a minute. So some people are diabetic, but you look in the family, they say there's no one else who's diabetic, but it says genetic. Hold a second. Sometimes you got to think outside the box and say, right, think for yourself. But apparently type 1 is less in the world, so less of it is genetic. So it's about your eating and your smoking, your drinking, and your lack of exercise. That is it. That's majority, but it's nothing more. So if you are struggling with diabetes, then go for a walk. Lessen your sugar and salt. I think lessen your sugar intakes, your sweet foods. And I don't think alcohol is a big issue of smoking, but lessen your sweet foods. Just lessen if you are seeking to sort yourself out. So rates by country. So apparently Pakistan was number 1. So what they're saying China was. With close to 33 million of its adult population suffering from diabetes. Wow. So almost a third of the country is suffering from diabetes. Pakistan was the country with the highest prevalence of diabetes. Pakistan, French Polynesia, Kuwait, Nauru, New Caledonia, Marshall Islands, Mauritius, Kiribati, Egypt, American Samoa. Oh, that's good. So what they're saying, 40% of Europe has it. Oh, that's bad. I don't want anyone to be on here. But all these are countries, French Polynesia, Kuwait, Middle East, Pakistan, Kuwait, Mauritius in Africa, Egypt, Middle East Africa, American Samoa. Oh. The situation in Pakistan is currently not expected to improve in the near future. By 2045, the country is estimated to have 62 million people suffering from diabetes due to numerous reasons, including malnutrition. So this chronic disease has also reached alarming levels in many oceanic island countries and territories, including French Polynesia, New Caledonia, American Samoa. Meanwhile, African nations like Benin and Gambia have recorded the lowest prevalence of diabetes in the world in 2021. In China, diabetes was prevalent in 10.6% of the nation's adult population in 2021, while this only puts the country in 60th place in terms of prevalence rate. This is equivalently to roughly 140 million adults. I said highest number, correct, okay, highest number of adults with diabetes. Because of the country's large population, I see what you mean. Similarly, India's 9.6 prevalence of diabetes equals 77 million adults suffering from the disease in the country, more than double the number of Pakistan's diabetic citizens. In Americas, Mexico has the highest adult prevalence of diabetes, 16.9% or 14.1 million people. Though the US has a lower rate at 10.7%, its higher population gives it an estimated 92.2 million adults with diabetes. So breaking down rate by country. So if you go through here, those are the top 10 they're saying. Tuvalu, Samoa, Qatar, Guam, Sudan, Arabia, Fiji, Paulo, and much more. So you can see for that, but that's a map of the... It's better here. I don't go for this quite a number of countries. Forgive me, I apologize if you want to go for it. I'll post a link in the description, you can go for it, but this is better consider everything at once. So Pakistan is leading the world, then Egypt. Then we have Papua New Guinea, Malaysia, China, Afghanistan, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Mexico. What is Alaska as well? Chile, then we have the rest of the countries, then those with nothing at all. So that's it. Let's move back on the side. This is diabetesatlas.org. According to this website, in 2021, North America here and Caribbean, 51 million. South and Central America, 32 million. Africa, 24 million. Middle East and North Africa, 73 million. Europe, 61 million. Southeast Asia, 90 million. Western Pacific, 206 million. The key global findings in 2021. The IDF Diabetes Atlas 10th edition reports a continued global increase in diabetes prevalence, confirming diabetes as a significant global challenge to the health and well-being of individuals, families, and societies. So 507 million people, adults, are living with diabetes. Am I in the way? I think I am. Alright, I'll move my lovely face this side. Is that better? So 507 million. Over 3 in 4 adults. 6.7 million deaths. Caused at least $906 billion in health expenditure. A 316% increase over the last 15 years. So it cost the US $966 billion. Yikes, what an expense. So 541 million adults have impaired glucose tolerance, IGT, which places them at high risk of type 2 diabetes. Yes, these are facts I'm reading from different sources, so you can pick and see what fits you. I know some say it's not true, some say, you know, not numbers, just for numbers. You never know, but take what you think is true. If it's not true, fair enough. At least have an awareness. So, Africa. $24 million in Africa out of 900 billion, 1 billion people. That's quite low, actually. That's good. So good. I mean, it's good. Not most people in the world, but that's quite good. I mean, it's not good to have diabetes, but I mean, it's quite low for the population, which is good because diabetes don't have people having too much sugar. 1 in 2 people with diabetes are undiagnosed. 416,000 deaths due to diabetes 2021. South Africa, 1 in 22 adults. That's not a bad, well, at least it's, yeah, it's good. The total number of people with diabetes is predicted to increase by 109% to 55 million. That's bad. So over 1 in 2 people living with diabetes are undiagnosed. Now that's bad as well. The deaths, 416,021. So 1 in 8 live births are affected by hyperglycemia in pregnancy. So if you're in Africa, this is your statistics for diabetes. 122, 24 million. What's the population of Africa? Is it 900 billion? So that's a quite slow number, which is good, but it's going to be doubled, which is bad. Alright, so over to Europe. Those in Europe, 600 million people, 1 in 3 adults with diabetes are undiagnosed. So 1.1 million deaths caused by diabetes in 2021. That's a lot. That's not good. So Europe, here we are. In Europe, 1 in 11 adults. Oh, that's quite hard. 6 million, that's quite large. That's not good. The number of adults with diabetes expected to reach 67 million by 2030 in 7 years. Actually, 6 years now. 69 million. Over 1 in 3 adults living with diabetes are undiagnosed. It cost Europe, I'm guessing, 189 billion US dollars, 189 US dollars spent on diabetes in 2021 in Europe, I'm guessing. It's around 170 billion pounds, is it? 160, 70 billion pounds. Wow. So there are 1.1 million deaths in Europe due to diabetes in 2021. That's a lot. That's so good. Middle East, North Africa, 1 in 6 adults. That's very high. That's not good. That's that's a lot. Yeah, actually, yeah. So Middle East, well, Pakistan, Egypt were high. So 1 in 6 adults, 73 million people are living with diabetes. The number of adults with diabetes reached 95 million in 6 years. 1 in 3 adults are undiagnosed. 96,000 deaths in 2021. Not to mention don't say how much money it was. But 1 in 7 live births affected by hyperglycemia in pregnancy. That's a lot. Not good. North America and the Caribbean, again, 1 in 7 adults. 51 million people in North America. 1 in 4 adults is not diagnosed. 931,000 deaths in 2021 and 415 billion dollars. US dollars in 450 million US dollars spent on diabetes in 2021. That is a lot of money. Yikes. South and Central America, 1 in 11,000, so 32 million in America, that's South America, South and Central. It's going to be expected to reach 40 million by 2030. 1 in 3 adults living with diabetes, 410,000 deaths caused by diabetes in 2021. US dollars 65 billion spent on 65 on diabetes. Wow. Southeast Asia, 1 in 11 adults, 90 million, expected to reach 113 million. Over 1 in 2 adults, 7.7 thousand deaths, and US dollars 10 billion spent on diabetes. Western Pacific, 1 in 8 adults, 26 million people. Wow. It is expected to reach 238 million. Over 1 in 2 adults living with diabetes are undiagnosed. 2 to 3 million deaths caused by diabetes in 2021. US dollars 241 billion spent on diabetes in 2021. So this is the diabetesatlas.org. Yeah. Before we go to this video, let me show you a small video, a quick break. Allow me to show this video before we carry on. Oh, don't do that. Quick video.
Diabetes refers to a group of conditions characterized by a high level of blood glucose, commonly referred to as blood sugar. Too much sugar in the blood can cause serious, sometimes life-threatening health problems. There are 2 types of chronic diabetic conditions: type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Pregnant women may acquire a transient form of the disease called gestational diabetes, which usually resolves after the birth of the baby. Pre-diabetes is when the blood sugar level is at the borderline, higher than normal, but lower than in diabetics. Pre-diabetes may or may not progress to diabetes. During food digestion, carbohydrates, or carbs, break down into glucose, which is carried by the bloodstream to various organs of the body. Insulin is a hormone produced by beta cells of the pancreas and is necessary for glucose intake by target cells. In healthy people, beta cells of the pancreas produce insulin. Insulin binds to its receptors on target cells and induce glucose intake. In type 1 diabetes, beta cells of the pancreas are destroyed by the immune system by mistake. The reason why this happens is unclear, but genetic factors are believed to play a major role. Insulin production is reduced. Less insulin binds to its receptor on target cells. Less glucose is taken into the cells. More glucose stays in the blood. Type 1 is characterized by early onset. Symptoms commonly start suddenly and before the age of 20. Type 1 diabetes is normally managed with insulin injection. Type 1 diabetics are therefore insulin dependent. In type 2 diabetes, the pancreas produces enough insulin, but something goes wrong either with receptor binding or insulin signaling inside the target cells. The cells are not responsive to insulin and therefore cannot import glucose. Glucose stays in the blood. In other words, type 2 diabetics are insulin resistant. Here again, genetic factors predispose susceptibility to the disease, but it is believed that lifestyle plays a very important role in type 2. Typically, obesity, inactive lifestyle, and unhealthy diet are associated with higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Type 2 is characterized by adult onset. Symptoms usually appear gradually and start after the age of 30. Type 2 diabetes accounts for about 80 to 90% of all diabetics. Management focuses on weight loss and includes a low-carb diet.
So that was a quick video about diabetes from my website. Yes, so click it, license this video. So you check from alilamedicalmedia.com. Yes, if you want more about the website. And moving on, so I'm back to here. So this is by healthdata.org. Once again, it's not my words, so take what you think is necessary and leave the rest. I'm reading from somebody else's writings, so I'm not quoting, I'm not acknowledging, I'm just reading, so to understand what they're saying and what's their point of view. So this is from health.org. So global diabetes cases to soar from 5.9 million to 1.3 billion in the next 27 years, 26 years. So that's quite far. Unless we do something about it. It says every country in the world is expected to see rates increase. So Seattle, Washington, I think. June 22 this year. I'm in the way again, ain't I? Yes, I'll move my lovely self. So, more than 500 million people are living with diabetes worldwide. So, I've gone through that already. We're going to peruse through where it's in that what they're saying, but this one is saying that it's going to project it to double. It's going to double to 1.3 billion people next 30 years if we don't do something about it. It's just rates, which rate is showing in other cases. What's going on? Hey. I'm reading here, goodness me, diabetes was especially evident in people 65 and older in every country and recorded as a prevalence rate of more than 20% for that demographic worldwide. The highest rate was 24%, 24.4% for those between ages 75 and 79. Examining the data by super region, North Africa and the Middle East had the highest rate at 39.4% in this age group, while Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Central Asia had the lowest rate at 19.8%. As we say, almost all global cases, goodness me, 96%, what? Are type 2 diabetes. Sorry, it's confusing. So all 16 risk factors started with associated with T2D, that is high body mass index, was a primary risk for type 2 diabetes, right? I got it, yay. Thank you. So 96% are, let me try again. Oh, why is it allowing me to do it? Oh, there we are. I'm reading from this paragraph here, yes. Got it. And it's gone. Right here, got you. So almost all global cases are type 2. All 16 risk factor studies were associated with type 2 diabetes. And they found out that high body mass index was the primary risk for T2D, type 2 diabetes, accounting for 52.2% of type 2 diabetes disability and mortality, followed by dietary risks, environmental occupational risks, tobacco use, low physical activity, and alcohol use. So the cause of diabetes type 2 is high body mass index. So that is your, so if your body mass index is less than 18.5, it falls within the underweight range. If your BMI is 18.5 to 25, it falls within the healthy weight range. If your BMI is 25 to 30, it falls within the overweight range. So those who have diabetes have found their BMI is 30 or higher, it falls within the obesity range. Yes, that is your body mass index. So body mass index is a measure that uses your height and weight to work out if your weight is healthy. The BMI calculation divides an adult's weight in kilograms by their height in meters squared. So it divides, to calculate your BMI, take your weight in kilograms, divide your weight in kilograms by your height in meters squared. Height in meters squared, so that's your BMI. The BMI takes your weight divided by your height in meters squared. So that is your BMI. Yes, so just checking out there. So that is who, those with diabetes 2 have a high body mass index. I'm guessing above 30. That means they're large, they're big. With that excess weight, I think it's carrying around, that's causing diabetes. After that, they found number 2 was dietary risks, and then environmental, and then tobacco use, then low physical activity, and then alcohol. So it's not about the exercise, it's about the weight that you're carrying around is causing diabetes. Majority of the times. That is the cause of diabetes as they found it in the study. Using the global burden of disease study, researchers examined the prevalence, morbidity, and mortality of diabetes for 204 countries and territories by age and sex between 1990 and 2021, and forecasted diabetes prevalence to 2050. This study was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Oh, all right. What's it called? Oops. Okay, they are not the ones. All right. So this is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But for those who know about the foundation, you know what I'm talking about. So fingers crossed on this data. But all in all, it shows you a bit. I don't like. It might not be right. It might not be right or wrong. Who knows? But at least you have an idea. So you can take out the meat and find your own research and compare other sites. But the thing is, type 2 diabetes is, this one is saying it's the BMI which is high. Could I be lying? Maybe or not, but at least it gives you an idea of what that is, isn't it? So if we go to the International Diabetes Federation, I think we've already gone through this already, to be honest. So just a repeat of what we have seen. The same data, just different website. Use my beautiful face here. So you can see that they are just a repetition of what we read. So, but you can see from different sites. But this was 2021. All right, that's another site as well. Didn't go through. World Health Organization, this is their take on diabetes. So kind of the same thing. So symptoms, prevention and treatment. This is from the World Health Organization. Excuse me. That's it. I'm done. I apologize. That's very unprofessional, Josh. But yeah, so these are sites. So as I say, take it with a pinch. Sometimes these studies are funded by certain people for certain agendas, but sometimes they need the truth. Sometimes, so pick out the necessary ones and let go of what you don't think is true. Sometimes because you're the ones causing a lot of issues, pandemics, and all that. But sometimes they have to tell you something for them to understand. So pick what you think is correct, what you need. There's a fact sheet, there's the risk for children, initiative groups. But it's good to have a read around so you know exactly what you are dealing with. This is from the National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information. An official website of the United States government. Oh, I see. This is a long paper. I'm going to go for this, please, but if you've got the time to read through this, it's called the Yabrep Offer Manuscript available in PMC 2014 December 1. Published in final edited form as CAR Pub 2013. This is over 10 years ago. The Race/Ethnic Difference in Diabetes and Diabetic Complications by Elias K. Spanikis, MD, and Sherita Hill Golden. So in this review, we summarize that statement and provide novel updates on race-ethnic differences in children and adults with type 1 diabetes, children with type 2 diabetes, and Latino subpopulations. We also review race/ethnic differences in the epidemiology of diabetes, pre-diabetes, and diabetes complications and mortality in the United States and globally. Finally, we discuss biological, behavioral, social, and mortality in the United States and globally. Social, environmental, and health system contributors to diabetes disparities in order to identify areas for future preventive interventions. The keywords here is diabetes, disparities, ethnic, race, diabetes, complications, pre-diabetes. So big paper here, but you can see table 2. What is table 1? Table 1. So age-adjusted prevalence of diagnosed diabetes mellitus in the United States by race, ethnicity in adults 20 years over. Non-Hispanic whites. Non-Hispanic whites. So these are Hispanics who are not whites. What a way to just say brown or colored Hispanics. Good. 7.1%. Asian Americans, 8.4%. Hispanic Americans overall, 11.8%. Non-Hispanic blacks, 12.6. Alaska Natives, 5.5. Native Americans, 33. A nice ethnicity, but why using so much non-Hispanic blacks? Why is non-Hispanic whites? Alright, for those who understand that, that's table 1. Table 2, Hispanic Latino, 16.7 men, is higher in women. Cuban, Dominican, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Central American, South American. I know, is it quite small? Let me... Is that better? So I know it's a bit so, I apologize. Age-adjusted prevalence of diagnosed diabetes mellitus in the United States in Hispanic Latino groups. This one before was age-adjusted prevalence of diagnosed diabetes in the United States by rest significant adults 20 years. Non-Hispanic whites, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans overall, non-Hispanic blacks, Alaska Natives. I don't see any African Americans or white Americans in this. If I can be prejudiced, I don't see any blacks or whites. I see non-Hispanic blacks, non-Hispanic whites. So this only, there's no African American group or couple colored Americans, no African American, no black Americans. There's no white Americans, European Americans in this pop. All I see is Native, Alaska, non-Hispanic blacks, Hispanics, and Asians. I don't see anything for whites or blacks in total, or who you call blacks, the melanated people in this study. Or am I wrong? Is it in the non-Hispanic whites? Is that what it means by non-Hispanic whites? By the Hispanic. It's like as well. So where are the European Americans or the African Americans or the black Americans in this topic? I don't see them there. Carrying on. It's in Asian subgroups in America. Chinese are the highest. No, Filipino, Asian Indian are the highest. Then Filipino, then Chinese. No, Filipino, then we have all Asian, other Asian, Korean, Vietnamese, Japanese, much more. In the world, Africa is the lowest in diabetes. Then we have Europe, Western Pacific. Then we have the Southeast Asia, South America, North America, Caribbean, then Middle East and Africa, the highest. We're going for that. Again, here we go. Non-Hispanic white, non-Hispanic black, Hispanic American, Asian Pacific Islands, North American. In the youth. Alright. Well, I guess I smell a bit of bias in here. Am I wrong? Could be wrong. But that's a big paper. I won't wait for all of it. But what you see. So that is it from me. I don't want to take too much time over. Too much knowledge is gonna load my brain, our brain. So, but those are the statistics of diabetes global. That's 2021. This is this year. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. So I used Visual Capitalist, I used the IDF, the baseatlas.org, NHS UK, healthdata.org, IDF.org, the World Health International doesn't open up, but the World Health Organization. I used the NCBI, it's part of the American government, and I used Google as well. So I've given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sources which you can read. Doesn't mean it's all correct. Could be the same person, different articles, so you know how the world works. But as long as you can see different points of views, and then decide to make up your own mind and see whether you believe or not. Oh, actually, I also gave you YouTube as well. I found koidavoice.com. No, Alila Medical Media. So yeah, it's good to have a read around to see what people say. Could be right or wrong, but it's good to get some knowledge and take it from there. All in all, what are your thoughts on that? Diabetes is quite a disease. As I said, it's the body mass index. I've seen people who are large. Yeah, I think from large it comes from eating, isn't it? I don't think it's genes in there that people are saying. I don't think it's genes when it's body mass index is large. But definitely look after your health for those who are interested. I would say some people aren't, but look, for those who are interested, I am one of them. I don't want to even think about it. But yeah, a lot of sugar in our foods, a lot of sweeteners I think is one of the causes I know salt causes high blood pressure, but sugar is dominant in our foods and sweeteners. In almost everything we put sugar, sugar, sugar. No exercise, get out there, walk. Look after your diet and your health because we don't want it to increase. I say it should decrease by 2050. The projecting is going to decrease. I say it's going to decrease. If we work on it, then let us decrease it. Positive thinking. We should let the numbers decrease. Not every country should increase. Some will, but I fight for health. So that means we should advocate for people to heal or to avoid actually getting diabetes. So it's something we should work on. Because if that is true what they're saying, then that means we're heading down the bad path. So because we are positive thinkers here, we say let us change that and say, you know what, I'm going to fight for those to heal, to overcome diabetes. Any disease, don't have the country with diabetes. Absolutely not. That means there's no workforce, especially the youth get diabetes, then that's finished. Who's going to look after us when we're older? So thinking that way, I say it's time to cure our diseases and our youth from diabetes. Any disease, but today is about diabetes, right? Because who will drive our trams, our transports? Who's gonna serve us in the public if everyone is sick from diabetes? So we must fight in voice against us. We must fight for the good, for the positive, because it's gonna affect me. If I use the internet, if I am ordering some mail and so sorry, it's sick. Why? Because diabetes is sick. It can't come in. It can't be my fault, but I can at least help it. Then I'm saying it's my fault. Not my responsibility, but I can help. I choose to help, so we increase health. Because these things are alarming. If by 2030, in the next 6 years, it's going to be double the number of diabetics. One of us could be my friends or my loved ones, and I wouldn't want that to happen. If it's not their choice, that is it. If it's their choice, fine enough, but I wouldn't like it to happen to anyone. Would prefer our youth, or okay, my community. Let's put it that way. My community of followers and those who support me and those who are looking into health. We would like our community to be healthy and not have diabetes. That means we can live longer, we can enjoy our lives better. We can say no to the statistics. Yes, they're predicted, but we can turn the tide round. It doesn't have to happen that way. It's not a life sentence that you say it's going to happen. No, we can change our lives right now, beginning today. We can change beginning now and say, no, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to exercise more, avoid too much sugar. Easier said than done, but it has to be done. All right, my lovelies, that is it. I'll thank you for listening. It's an hour. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Remember, avoid diabetes. Say no to diabetes. Say no to disease. Diabetes is a killer. It's a lot, and we say no to diabetes. As you see, those are the numbers. Might be higher, might be lower. The point is, we don't want it. That's the thing. Whether it's true or not, we don't want it. I don't want it. That's the point. Whether they're lying to us or not, the point is we don't want it here in our page, right? Are you with me? Let us fight for health. Fight for our health. Not speak. Let us fight for health, because people are fighting to give you sickness. Let us fight for health. Let us defend our health. Yes, at all costs. I'm joking. At any cost. Fight for your health and let us go forward, because Mr. Lam, it's going to affect you one way. If it doubles, increases on someone who is within your influence, will affect you. It's part of life, but if you can avoid some things, let's work towards it. Let's work towards a healthy goal. So we are going to set our goals here. By 2030, we want less health, less sickness. More health, less sickness, less death, more happiness, less negativity. I'll set my goals, because this is somebody's goals. So I'm going to set my own goals, how I want it to be. So I say no to no higher diabetes, higher illness. I'm saying less diabetes by 2050, less diabetes in all countries, because we are going to make a plan to fight for health. That's right. Take care, and we shall see you again. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you like what you see, let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on diabetes? Let me know what are your thoughts on diabetes, and do you have another idea? Is it something different? Do you believe it can be changed? Were you diabetic? Did you have diabetes? Are you a diabetic? Do you actually have the disease, or are you fighting it? Have you healed? I would like to hear your story. So definitely get in touch and let me know. That is it from me. Thank you for tuning in, for the support, good or bad, negative or positive. Subscribe, join the private channel where you can talk more, have more one-on-one sessions. Apart from that, it's a good day to be positive. So end it on a positive tone. 100% health. Say no to diabetes. Say yes to health. Say yes to wellness. Say yes to good well-being and much more. You, my friend, are invited to the health of heaven, the heaven health. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Take care and bye. See you later.